I think the South Dakota State game was a great learning experience for us. I think we're still at a stage where everything's a really learning experience. We got guys playing together some for the first time, and we went up there to a great environment, sold out place, played number 6 in the country. And I thought physically we played well, although mentally we committed multiple mistakes. We had 12 penalties and 6 turnovers, and it's not only hard to beat the number 6 team in the country or beat any ranked opponent doing that, but it's hard to beat anybody that's on the road. Again, we're going to take it as a learning experience. We'll learn from our lessons and move on from there. There were some good performances there. There was a lot of bright spots, things to be positive about, although we didn't find a way to get the job done. I think we showed again physically we can play with anybody in the country. We just got to play a little smarter and make sure we protect the football and can't put ourselves in bad situations, because a lot of those penalties again were situations where it was first down, and instead we're coming back and it's 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 15, or we get a sack and we get a holding call in secondary, and negates the sack, gives a first down in the red zone, which turns into points. And we did that multiple times. They were very costly penalties. They were very at the wrong time, and really I think changed the face of the ball game. But with that said, I think there's, like I said, there's a lot to be learned from it. I think there's enough positives come out of that we could move on from there and become a better football team because of it.
Did the best team win?
No, I don't think so. I mean, but that's football. And I said it several times that not always the best team wins on Saturday. It's the team that plays the best. They play better than us. So but I'm not saying that the best football team won. That's not always the case.
What were the areas that you felt you outplayed them?
I think we outplayed them all 3 phases of the game. I mean, we have 500 yards of offense. I think we moved the ball at will. The only time we stopped ourselves was because of penalties or turning the ball over. And then defensively, I thought we were playing solid. We hold the leading rusher to negative yards at the half. We're playing great run defense. Yeah, we have a mistake. We let them go 75 yards for a touchdown. We turned a guy loose in the first half for a 50-yard gain on a back out of the backfield. Mental mistakes like that. Besides that, again, we're close. We're not there yet, obviously, but we're very close. We were perfect on field goals. We turned the kickoff return to the house. I think we had 2 great kickoff. We had a couple great kickoff returns. I think our coverage units really stepped up. I thought our kickoff coverage was excellent. Delwyn Davis did a great. He came up with some huge plays on kickoff coverage. So I think across the board on that part of it, special teams wise, I think we won the game playing it physically on the field. But you can't. There's some mistakes you can't overcome on a football field.
Would you consider the mental errors uncharacteristic from what you know about your team?
Yeah,
and
right
how
now.
Frustrating is that?
Yeah. Well, I know our players are very frustrated. They're frustrated. They're upset. They're coming in Sunday. Again, we thought the way we played the 2 previous games, we had not done that. I don't know if it's because they reached too hard and tried to play too hard, because we did. We played extremely hard. We played a lot harder in that game than we played in the previous 2. We played at a faster tempo. We played a more physical up front on both sides of the ball. And maybe it was a point where we were, trying too hard, and the point where it caused mistakes, and we did some things that were uncharacteristic of us. So I would like to see it, like I told you, I don't want to change the way we play or any of that stuff. I just want to make sure we tighten the reins up a little bit and don't commit those same mistakes again.
You guys were able to get 5 sacks. What was working there that enabled you guys to do something to make that happen?
We didn't blitz a whole lot. We blitzed a little bit. We had some line twists and stuff up front, but I'm going to say a lot of them were great calls, putting guys in the right situation. But Coach Gold, he did. He had a great game plan, ready to go, and our guys, for the majority of the game, executed it physically on the field, executed it well. Now, you attack on a penalty, we get a sack, and we actually had more than 6 sacks. We had more than that, but a couple of them are negated because of penalties. So.
Were you out quicking them up front? I mean, that's what you would expect to happen against
I
big
think,
guys and
yeah, we did a little bit of that. We did a little movement up front, but not as much. Our guys, I mean, I think that they came out with a very a physical mentality, and they came a week. You know, I mean, I think honestly, when I look back going into the game, I mean, that's probably the most focused I had seen our group, and determined to come out of the gate strong against an opponent yet since I've been here. You know, whether obviously at that point, you know, you look back and say, okay, we weren't really. We obviously, my fault is we weren't prepared to do that at that stage.
It's kind of flipping the script from last year when you had trouble
Yeah.
getting off the blocks. And,
Yeah.
and now it's a different deal. The second half has been the problem. How do you account for that?
Yeah. You know, a lot of it, you know, is just, you know, focus. Not that we're losing focus, but, you know, I try to tell our guys that you got to learn to deal with adversity. And there's two types. There's adversity when things are going bad, and there's also, I call it, there's a positive adversity that you're not fully expected to happen. You go back 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure our guys were prepared to play that well against TCU. I mean, it caught them by shock. I think we did the same thing this week. I think we went into South Dakota State, and our guys were kind of shocked that we would physically manhandle them up front on both sides of the ball. And you know, at that point at half, we really felt going back. You know, Sunday looking at the film, we probably should have been up 28-7 at the half. You know, we kicked 2 field goals. You know, we got faulted by, you know, got stopped. We turned the ball over on the 9. You know, again, we should have been. We had a chance to really blow that game out of the water at the first half.
One that Bennett's got 4 interceptions, which is, you haven't seen that before. Was that things they were doing, or was he trying to force stuff?
You know, I think it's a combination of a few things. One was, yeah, he tried to force something. 2 was we didn't block the end. He's got a guy in his face, and he gets rushed and makes a bad decision. 2 of them were that, where probably should have just thrown the ball away and let him play another day, and he was trying to make a play in a crucial point of the game. You know, and he didn't want to throw the ball away, and sometimes you got to do that. And I said that's with him. You know, he's going through a learning experience too. It's his first time taking that many snaps and being the guy and being in that crunch time situation where you got the ball in your hands with 2 minutes to go. He'll learn from it. I have no doubts about that, and I think we'll be a better team because of it.
Do you feel like your running backs are getting enough? I mean, I know how it works. You're playing a read option.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wish we, you know, we got to get the ball in our hands a little more. We threw a little rink, you know, the ball out to them and stuff, and did that, but we're not getting enough runs. They kind of, you know, pulled it out of hand and made Brian carry the football, and that's fine because he's a weapon. But we got to get the ball in our hands. They're all dangerous, and they're dangerous more. More times they carry it, the more times they have an opportunity to break the big one. And we haven't really sprung them free and got them into the secondary and got them a big one. Get them out in space, one-on-one with a guy, and we got to be able to do that. I mean, I'm pleased with running the way they're handling things. We got to get them the ball a little more.
I guess, do you, as a defensive team, when you're facing a quarterback like Brian, you want him to keep it? I mean, you know, from a defensive philosophy, they're trying to make him keep the ball?
I guess, you know, yeah. I think by nature, ways people are playing it, sometimes they're having him keep the football. I don't know if they're just trying to get shots on him or what, but you know, right now he's having success running the ball, but they are making him keep it, and they're taking it out of, you know, they're taking it out of the running back's hands.
What can you tell us about Sanford?
Sanford's a really good ball club. They're really good. I think they're a top 25 team. We watched the film when they you know, dismantled 2 people, and you know, really probably more so than the score appeared. You know, and then they're in Arkansas, and they're up in the 4th quarter, and probably, you know, I know they felt they should have won that ball game. So they got a very experienced quarterback. He's a 6-year guy, got a 6-year granted to him because of injury. They got 2 really good running backs. You know, I think what they do on offense really, I mean, they're playing to their talent, and they're playing to the things that they do well. I think they're coached really well. I think defensively they've got some talented people in there. Their safety's probably as good as anybody in the country. He's a projected first-round guy. You know, they've got a big defensive line. They got some real active linebackers. So you know, I think overall, I think they are a very good football team. You know, and that's what it is. We're a third game on the road. We got to play well, and if you don't, if you commit penalties and you commit turnovers on the road, it's going to be real hard to win. So we don't just need to play well. We got to play smart, and that's probably one thing that we have. You know, that's the next step for us to put it all together. We need a coming out game. We need to put everything together and come out there and play 4 quarters of football, play as well as we really can.
Just looking at season stats, it looks like one pass. It looks like they're fairly balanced. Where do you guys see them?
They are. I mean, they're balanced. They're spreading the ball around to get into multiple guys. They're getting guys plenty of touches. Their kick return game is really good. I don't know what he's preseason. I don't know, FCS returner, All-American or whatever he was. He's pretty. The punt return. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands. That's going to present a challenge for us. But as far as their offense, they're balanced and they're moving the ball around. They don't. The quarterback doesn't hold the ball long. It's going to be tough to get to him, just because he doesn't hold the ball long. It's a lot of a quick game. He's getting the ball out of his hands quick. So that will be tough. That'll be a presented challenge. It's a different way. You can't just go get after him pressure-wise. I don't expect we're going to get there a lot, just because he doesn't hold the ball very long. He's an experienced guy, and he's going to get it out of his hands quick.
He got a couple of picks last week that kind of kept
Yeah.
Family in the game, but I think those were the first 2, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that
Yeah.
seemed to be a.
Yeah, they were kind of unusual. One, he just threw a short route late, and their corner makes a great play. It really was a pretty fabulous play break. And then the other one was a screen, which is, and again, I'm going to put it on their corner. I really think it's more FAMU than what he did wrong. He throws a screen, a wide receiver screen, and the corner sniffs it out and catches the ball behind the line of scrimmage and goes for 6. I mean, pretty unusual play. You know, that's not the quarterback's fault. I wouldn't say either one. I mean, the one being late, yeah, the receiver on the screen, that's not it. I mean, that's not indicative of his play. I think he plays very well and makes some good decisions with the football.
Defensive, I think their defensive back had 3 picks last week too. Right now, so you got to kind of looking that way when you guys do things.
Yeah. Well, like I said, their safety is probably as good a safety in the country. He's physical. He can run. He can do the whole. He's the whole enchilada. So he's a really good player. Their Mike linebackers are a really good player. You know, and we're gonna have to again not try to don't put their ball in situations where he can make a great play and do that, because he'll do it. We got to be aware of that when we have what the matchups are and when we're going after him, and we're going to have to make sure we block him in the run game, because he's going to come downhill. He comes downhill hard, and he's a physical safety. It's probably, like I said, he'll be as physical as anybody we're going to see all year long.
Probably licking his chops a little bit after seeing the film too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I guarantee he'll be up for the game as far as a run game. I think he's going to be a factor in the ball game. We got to make sure he's not a big factor in the ball game.
You said they're not really a gambling type.
No, not really. They're not pressure. They're a 4-3 defense. They're going to sit back. They're going to play quarters coverage and zone, and they got some big guys up front, try to stop the run. They got some real active linebackers that run really well, and they're going to play on the pass defense. They're not going to mix up the coverage as much. They're just going to kind of not make a lot of mistakes and play good coverage, and they've done that for the most part this year.
Were you just talking about South Dakota State, or were you just talking about?
Yeah, I think really we are. We're playing a little similar defense than we played last week. Very similar. They're not going to make a lot of mistakes. They're not going to pressure you much. Although I think Sanford's got a little better athletes. Though I think obviously South Dakota may be a little more physical up front. They're both really good defenses, and we're going to, like I said, the biggest thing, execute, do what you're supposed to do. Make sure at the end of the play we come up with the football, not them.
Is this an ideal game for you guys? Obviously you use all of them to get ready for conference, but is this an ideal opponent heading into conference play?
I think this one's going to give us a real good idea of where we're at after 3 ball games. Now we're going to go against Sanford, who I think can be very competitive in the Southland. I know they think they've got a chance, to win their conference, the Southern Conference, and which is a great football conference. And I know they got a lot of senior-laden team, and they think this could be their year. So I think it's going to be a great indicator for us where we're at, and that's the whole thing. Where are we at, and what else things do we still got to work on, going in. But with all that said and done, some of this cliche stuff, what do we got to work on? Right now, we need a W. We need a W before we come home. We got to come off this thing. We got to come off 2-2 when we come off this road. We'll come off this road stretch. So I think it's a big game for us. It's a very important game for us. We're going to have to go on the road and play very well.
I ask you every week, but you guys healthy coming out of last week?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I think we've been fortunate in that part of it. We're healthy. I think we'll get Tyler Stoddard back this week too. He didn't play last week. I think it's going to help us just as more from a leadership standpoint, back there, what he can provide, not just in his play, but his ability to pick the people up around him and make them play at a higher level.
Did your feet get cold up there?
In pregame, yes. No, yeah, shocking enough, yeah. The grass was a little, the floor was a little damp, and yeah.
Was that turf or is that grass?
It's grass, yeah.
Now, see, when the basketball coaches do that, they get to wear sneakers indoors, and you go barefoot out. What's up with that?
I don't know, but it was a great cause. I'm glad they asked me to participate in that and to be a part of that, and that's what this thing's about. Football. How can we help other people, and how can we help our young men, grow and be better men in life, and how can we use a platform to help somebody else?